Hello, folks. Thanks again for joining me. Unfortunately, the news just keeps getting worse and worse. And I really believe that at this point we are really in a fight for our lives and our very survival. Forget that the republic's dead. That's a done deal. Based on the evidence, what the evidence clearly seems to suggest, it seems to suggest and everything seems to point to that Donald Trump and Elon Muskrat are trying to incite a terrorist attack against the United States that they can then use as a pretext to temporarily suspend the Constitution, implement martial law, and attack Iran. Now you say, hey, Fitch, that's crazy talk. Is it? Folks, I'm not a particularly I'm not the most eloquent person. I've mentioned this before. I would say I have maybe average to slightly above average intelligence. I'm essentially a dot connector, folks. Now, I'm not talking about, when you see in some of those movies like CSI, those, hey, uh, uh, this had the letter Z in it, and Z, if you change it into a number for the letter in the alphabet and you divide by the day of the year, it turns into this. No, folks, I'm talking about those little sheets that you were given as a child that had those numbered dots on it, like 1 through 20. And you take a crayon and you just draw a straight line from dot 1 to dot 2. And then at the end, you have a little heart or a little animal, a little frog or something. That's all I'm doing, folks. And if you can do that and you can count to 10, know what? 5. If you could do that and count to 5, this should be as clear and obvious to you as the fact that night follows day. So let's take a look at these dots. The first dot, folks, is that Donald Trump has, along with Muskrat, has and is gutting the FBI. The FBI is a critical intelligence operation that protects Americans from terrorism and crimes domestically and abroad. Who would want to gut the FBI? I can only think of actors such as Russia, the KGB, and the Russian government, members of ISIS, the Taliban, perhaps, and North Korea. In other words, all of our worst enemies, and Donald Trump and Elon Muskrat. That's the first dot. The second dot, is that they want to gut the CIA. Now, the CIA is also an absolute critical component of American safety abroad. They are our ears and eyes in other countries that are enemies of the United States. They have insiders with ISIS that are informants, so that we have eyes and ears around the world and we're not caught by surprise on anything. That's what the CIA does. And also, of course, the Department of Homeland Security, now run by that bimbo gnome, Krista, whatever her name is, Nomi, who came out to the press conference sashing and dancing to that song, Hot Mama. Like some bimbo that she is. They're also gutting the Department of Homeland Security. Those folks also got buyout offers. And then the third dot is that obviously the FBI is saying that, hey, if you lay off and essentially gut the FBI, the CIA, the Department of Homeland Security, that is going to make us vulnerable to terrorist attacks. It's obvious, folks. It's so obvious that a 2-year-old could understand this. Maybe a 3-year-old or 4-year-old. 2 years might be a little bit too young, but certainly a 4-year-old could understand this. Yeah, no kidding. If you gut the FBI, if you gut the CIA, and you gut the Department of Homeland Security, and you start outing our informants, which they have done, and they get killed, meaning that nobody will trust or want to work and be an informant for the CIA ever again, then yeah, you're going to open yourselves up to terrorist attacks, folks. And then here is the linchpin. Here is the last dot that completes the shape, completes the animal. Trump is now going around talking about removing the Gazans, the Palestinians, removing the Palestinians from Gaza forcibly and stealing their land. Now, folks, I don't know if you know this or not, but that's called genocide and ethnic cleansing. Now, there's a fine line between terrorism, legitimate terrorism, and justifiably fighting for your survival. Fighting for your right to exist. And if a hegemonic oligarchy mafia state with the means to do this comes and says, you know what, we're going to ethnically cleanse you. We're going to remove you from your territory, from your ancestral home, and we're just going to take your land, and you will have no right of return. Well then, folks, if they fight back, that's not terrorism. That's the fight for survival. A legitimate fight for survival. We're talking about ethnic cleansing and genocide here. They hung and shot people, World War II German generals, for the same thing. And so, yeah, he is doing this. He is saying this because he hopes and he knows that this will incite terrorist attacks against the United States at home and abroad. He knows this. He's counting on it. He will then use this as a pretext to suspend the Constitution and declare war on Iran. I mean, I don't know, folks. If there's an error in my logic somewhere, please let me know. Because at some point, this stuff really, it's not funny anymore. I mean, it was never funny, but at some point, it's really, where are the alarm bells? Where are people freaking out? Everybody should be in the streets, shutting the engine of the country down. And all you have is a bunch of late night talk shows with their stupid jokes. And people laughing and clapping. Ah, Stephen Colbert, that was so funny. Funny jokes, funny guys. Funny guy. Seth Meyers, yeah. Funny guy, funny jokes. Folks, the future of the world as we love and know it is at stake, folks. Using a third party, inciting an attack, and then using it to suspend the Constitution is what you learn in dictator school in the first course of Dictator College. Dictatorship 101. So I don't know, folks. If there was ever a red alert, folks, this is it. I mean, I really don't know how else to convey this sense of urgency. This sense of, hey, red alert, folks. We're the frog in a pot and the water is almost boiling. So I don't know, folks. If we want to try to save what's left of the country and rebuild a republic, or if we're just going to go all the way down the path of Russia, North Korea, 1933's Germany, then I guess we just keep doing what we're doing, which is a bunch of nothing. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Am I overreacting? Do I not make sense? Is there a flaw in my logic and my reasoning? Let me know. In the meantime, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a thumbs up. I would appreciate it. And if you like, hit that subscribe button. I would also appreciate that. Thank you.